Like, that's when you know that you're kind of borderline addicted. And I was like, that's pretty toxic. Let me include this in my YouTube video. Hey guys, welcome back. I just got back from clinic and I also haven't done like a sit down talking video, so I figured why not. We just finished the cardio portion of our cardio pole module. It has been incredibly busy, but at the same time, I'm also having fun because I do enjoy the material and I can definitely see the tie-ins like going to clinic. Today's topic is toxic things I've done in med school because I feel like there's a lot of toxic things that you potentially do in med school that I haven't heard people talk about. So let's jump into it. The first one is strategic dehydration. One of the clinics I volunteer at is serving the homeless population in downtown, and that area doesn't have any bathrooms. So one thing that I do like before every clinic is I'll not drink water like before or like during, because I'm just worried that I will have to use the restroom and there are no restrooms nearby. So I'll go without water for like I don't know, 3 to 6 hours, which probably isn't the healthiest and it doesn't sound the healthiest, but it's only like a thing that I do situationally. Of course, you can drink water throughout the volunteering, and sometimes I do, but sometimes I just honestly forget and I just don't drink water, and then when I get home, I'm like so thirsty and I'm like, what's happening? Needless to say, during the regular days, I'm always making sure I'm drinking and staying hydrated. The second thing, and probably one of the most common things among med students, is sacrificing sleep for your grades. Like, there are so many times where I'll literally stay up so late, and it's very counterproductive. If you think about it, some of the tasks, like let's say you can get something done during the day in 1 hour, but at night it takes you like 3 hours just because your concentration and energy levels are low, it's counterproductive. But like, I will get stressed if I have like an exam or a bunch of lectures I haven't caught up on, so I'll just like force myself to stay up, and I'll lose sleep. And it's not uncommon for med students to be sleep deprived. It's a common experience, but the healthy thing to do would be to go to sleep and wake up early. But I just have a bad habit of always like just staying up late because the stress will keep me up to get the assignment done until I finish it, and then I'll go to sleep. Oftentimes I just end up oversleeping, or that leads into the third thing, which is energy drinks and caffeine. I didn't start drinking caffeine hardcore until I hit med school, really. In undergrad and college, I would drink like black coffee, but it's never been to the point where in med school, I drink about a cup of coffee or 1 to 1.5 cups of coffee. But lately in this cardio pole module, literally, I started drinking energy drinks. I drank one, and then I didn't drink it for a couple days, and I started drinking it like every other day. And then it got to the point where one day I was like contemplating and in my mind running through how early I would have to leave the house so that I had enough time to stop by the grocery store to get energy drinks because I was feeling sluggish. And I was like, that's when you know that you're kind of borderline addicted. So far, it's only been like 1 energy drink a day, which if you look at the caffeine levels, it's about like 1.5 cups of coffee, so it evens out. But it is a little less natural to have an energy drink because it's more chemicals than like versus coffee, which may potentially have some antioxidants, and it's a little bit on the more natural side. I've been popping the energy drinks. It is a little bit toxic, but I'm gonna try to wean myself off of it, but also it's like a reward. It's mainly me just liking the fizziness, so maybe if I replace it with sparkling water, it'll do the job. 3 is using breaks to motivate myself, which it sounds good in theory, but sometimes, and I even saw like a TikTok or like a reel about this, I'll be trying to finish a PowerPoint or a lecture and I'll tell myself that I cannot use the restroom until I finish the PowerPoints. And this is even when I really have to use the restroom, but I'm like, no, you cannot leave until you finish it. And that does sound very toxic, and I feel like that is a risk for kidney stones. I don't do that anymore, but I stumbled upon it and I was like, oh, that happens to me sometimes. Like, I'm trying to be more mindful of it, and now I do take a lot of regular breaks. But that is something that I did like several times, and I was like, that's pretty toxic. Let me include this in my YouTube video. Another toxic thing that I did in med school, and I feel like it's not just because I was in med school that I did this, universal experience, ignoring red flags. This can be academic, this can be not academic, whatever it is. Ignoring red flags can be toxic to yourself, to other people. I don't recommend it. If there's something bad that you know and you're just going for it and you continue to do it, like, it can be fun for a while, but after a while, not so much fun. One of the results of ignoring the red flags was in the first year, I completely lost my sleep schedule and just my study schedule and stuff. I would go to sleep at the craziest times. I would just fall asleep like in bed, like my clothes from the day on, and I would just wake up in the middle of the night and be like, where am I? And it's really hard once you get out of your momentum to get back into it. It's important to establish a very healthy and regular schedule that works for you. So definitely don't ignore the red flags. Don't try to like always like push through and be like, oh, it's gonna be fine. There are gonna be days that you literally have to just stay up and you just have to push through and do what needs to be done. But also in the long run, think about your health and longevity. Sleep deprivation can definitely predispose you to other issues down the road, dementia, or just in general, like not as good mental health. So that's one thing I'm trying to prioritize. We're not going to be able to get a full 8 hours every night, but trying to get at least as many hours as you can and going to sleep at a regular time so your body's used to it is important to prioritize. You have to do what needs to be done, but you also have to strike a balance with preserving your long-term health. Another toxic thing that I've done in med school is distancing myself when I get stressed. Sometimes when there's just like so many assignments, so many lectures, and I'm just so behind, my family or friends will like text me and I'll just like shut down sometimes. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this right now. And I think sometimes when you are in that position where you're just really overwhelmed, you need to be embracing like the people who are there to support you. And sometimes it can be hard. You could just want to power through and be like, oh, whatever, and distance yourself. And there's a lot of times where I just felt so overwhelmed, didn't take the opportunity to go catch up with my family or meet with my family or hang out with my friends. Of course, you have to be studying, you have to make sure you're proactive and disciplined, but at the same time, don't lose touch with those people who are important in your life, because at the end of the day, medicine is one thing, but your life and also the people around you also matter as much. So I was editing and I have another one to add, and it is not feeling productive unless I'm sleep deprived. This one is like honestly really toxic, but a lot of the times, like let's say I get 8 hours of sleep, I do, I don't know, like 5 lectures. It's not the same amount of satisfaction compared to if I got like 5 hours of sleep and I still accomplish the same thing. Throughout the day, if I like feel tired or a little bit sleepy, I have a justification. Like if I am sleep deprived or I didn't get as much sleep the night before, I have a justification for being tired, like, oh, because I didn't get enough sleep. But if I do get enough sleep and I feel tired, I'm like, bro, like, why are you tired? Like, come on. I definitely don't do that anymore. I'm trying to look at sleep as something that is productive, because in the long run and in general, sleep is way more productive. A lot of the times when we have quizzes, I'll be just like really tired and I'll fall asleep before I can get to review everything. And in the end, like I still got a good grade and it didn't make a difference if I had reviewed the extra stuff. So sleep is honestly very important, and you can't function as well or perform as well if you are chronically sleep deprived, which is hard to say in med school, but it's all about striking a balance. That concludes the list for today. Let me know if you have done or even heard of any of the things that I mentioned today in the comments, and also let me know if you want a part 2. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!